Shalom, Chevra. This is Rabbi Michael Lemming of the Rabbi Lemming Show. As you all know, I am the Rosh HaYeshivah of Yeshivat Har Shalom in Haifa, and we have had a bit of a reprieve from the show for a while. Do not be alarmed by what appears to be bandages on the region of my nose. Indeed they are. Before I would like to get into the lesson of the day, this Erev Shabbat, before Purim, which I have much to speak about, I would like to, for those who are a trifle afraid of what might have happened to my nose, whether indeed there is a nose there, sadly, there is not. Hence the bandages. It has been a very rough year, and as you know, we have not had a show in some time. My health has suffered. I have shared my activism with my audience, with my people in my yeshiva, my commitment to bringing true religious existence, true halacha to the world of Israel and the diaspora, the pursuit of peace, which has tragically been not the endeavor of religious rabbis, excluding me as in the capacity of leader of some individuals out there like myself who are involved in efforts to reach out to our cousins, Ishmael, our brothers in this wonderful land. And I will not belabor the point, but there are extremists even amongst Arabs. Those of us in the peace camp cannot dismiss it. They are few and far between. Perhaps in some ways we have more extremism in our midst. But those who know of the interfaith dialogue know that I have been physically assaulted several times. But I have been involved in this for years. You are aware of 3 occasions. The very first, or perhaps the second episode of the Rabbi Lemming internet show featured me being very candid about a horrible incident years ago when I was assaulted and raped by an Arab in a village. And what you may not know, which I have not shared, is that an STD ensued. Apparently this Nebuch, this deluded soul of Ishmael, this Arab fellow who assaulted me, caused me tremendous physical and emotional pain, also gave me an STD, a sexually transmitted disease, syphilis. Those who saw that movie several years back with Johnny Depp know that sometimes the loss of a nose can occur. So my health has not been what it was. There have been other assaults. There was the infamous one that actually occurred online on the show. Another time I was visiting my dear friend Ezra at his wedding en route. I was assaulted by Bedouins in the town of Rahat. There's a story there, and then the eye suffered, but Baruch Hashem, there are 2. The nose is a different story. It did not fall off simply because of syphilis. That can happen. It was bitten off by an Arab in another violent altercation who, Baruch Hashem, spit it out for whatever reason. Perhaps when he bit it, he didn't chew it. I don't know. They have been known, or not they, on occasion, people who bite a nose in a moment of insanity, they are not even themselves. They're halachically not excuse me, my kippah fell off. They are not responsible when they go so crazy. Perhaps we have done things to bring this insanity, the spirit of extremism. But he spit it out, Baruch Hashem. But the immune system is not what it is. And so, though it was successfully reattached in wonderful procedures that they do today, the syphilis allowed it to become infected. And though you may see a bump here, there is no nose beneath here. It is a crater. There is a hole, essentially, between my eyes, in the region of the nose, that is literally stuffed with gauze. And I wear this bandage to prevent infection. Fear not, the nose is on ice. And who knows, there are talks in the academic world of science and medicine that there may be an opportunity to reattach it. I've lost... those who know, I once had fingers reattached. There are wonderful procedures, but this is not the point. I just didn't want you to be upset about my nose. Though sometimes it is a trifle sad to see what's become of my face. This is Parshat Zachor. And there are many Jews in the religious community who think this is an obligation to remember a real Amalek. Yes, as a religious Jew, we believe there was a nation Amalek, but that is not the lesson. The lesson is not one of history. The lesson of the Amalek within. There are those extremists who say the Arabs are Amalek. Lies. It is not true. Amalek does not exist. It is the Amalek within. So, Parshat Zachor, we are not talking about, heaven forbid, a modern genocide, a call or a desire to want to do this. Nevertheless, Purim is coming. In the past, I've spoken of this Purim within, fighting the Amalek. But I have come to a radical step. I have seen too much calls of violence and extremism and price tags. The antithesis of love and shalom, which is the essence of Judaism, and tikkun olam. And so this year I am calling for an end to Purim. Yes. A religious Orthodox rabbi, Rosh HaYeshivah, Talmid Chacham, calling for the end of Purim. Yes, perhaps the time is come. Much as we need to ordain women within the framework of halacha to be rabbis, rabbanit, to accept the dignity of them in this modern age, this clash, this pshara, this constant battle of the halacha and modernity, and not compromising one or the other, but fusing them, sometimes by looking away from the literal reading and being creative with the modern day midrash, dare I say, explaining all sorts of peopleistic things to show that the halacha is not as rigid. And this is the essence of halacha, I believe. But Purim, so how are we going to get away from this obligation of Purim? In the past, we would say, oh yes, Purim would be an extension of Parshat Zachor. Remember what they did to us, but to internalize the Amalek within. Bring love, not wishing to destroy this hatred. This is the real lesson. It is very deep and yet very profound. And simple also, but profound, yes. But I have seen too much extremism. I have seen calls for vengeance. I have seen Jews echoing the worst sentiments of those who would like to adopt a government of vengeance and spill Arab blood, heaven forbid. So what will I do? I will do what the esteemed thinker Yeshayahu Leibowitz used to do. Go away when the obligation for Purim is here. Travel away. And Shushan Purim, return to Arab. If you are in a walled city, go. Meaning, you will not be around on Purim. Very clever. Pshara, the essence of Pshara. I have seen children dressing up with guns, praising Baruch Goldstein. We are seeing terrible things in the Jewish community. We are the Jews, the people who are supposed to bring the message of Shalom, are adopting violence, calls for violence. This is not the way. And so we must evolve and mature past Purim. I truly believe that were there a Sanhedrin today, we would do likewise. Were there a Sanhedrin today, of which I would be part, almost surely, in the capacity of leadership, I would call upon the Sanhedrin and say it is time to evolve. In this time of peace, why bring this cultivation of war? We do not need Israel to react to every mortar. Right, they can be scary, but most of the time they harm no one. We must show restraint as long as we can. We must not respond to rockets with more rockets or better rockets, heaven forbid. We must respond in the typical Jewish way with a question. Is this what we want to become? The mirror image of those who would shoot rockets? Or perhaps we can shoot love. We can spew and insert an ethos of peace into the Jewish community. And this is the essence. Not to cultivate violence. Not to call for vengeance, heaven forbid, but to bring a peace of cousins, a peace of Yitzchak and Yishmael, because whether Jews and Arabs want to hear it or not, we are both the sons of Avraham Avinu, and we both have our own unique, particularistic claims to the land that do not negate the other, nor should they. We will coexist. Those who would like to boycott Purim in the halachic framework by not being around on Purim can check the website, and we will pursue this, and we have plenty of chagim. We must be creative. We must bring shalom to the world. So I will not wish you a happy Purim this year. It sounds a trifle strange, and it is presumably it will be viewed as most radical, but it is not. It is the Judaism of the prophets. It is the Judaism of dancing cousins. It is the essence and epitome of shalom. Derachea darchei noam v'chol netivoteh shalom. This has been Rabbi Lemming. It is wonderful to see you. Perhaps next time I will have a nose. There are talks that the surgical procedure may occur soon, or it may not. But nevertheless, I, who have much more to gain by adopting, I have been assaulted numerous times, despite my calls for peace. And yet I do not generalize and think that this represents anything but the most minuscule demographic within the Arab and Islamic world. If I can do it despite assault, rape, near murder, the biting of my nose, so can you. Shalom.